everybody. Hey, Darren. Looks like we got about 5 people in here right now to start off with. I got a couple of things that I'm going to talk about in the Daily Grindhouse. If you just were watching Dirk and Darren's stream, An Hour to Kill, I did talk about what I got from Barnes& and Noble. Hey, Dirk. Uh, Real quickly on their stream. But I'm going to talk about them again real quick because I did watch the first few minutes of one of these, and so I kind of wanted to talk about the quality of it. And then hopefully later on a later stream, I can talk about the whole movie or both of the whole movies once I get, through watching both of them. Hey, Chris. So Darren's in here, Dirk's in here, Chris is in here tonight. Um, if any of you guys and gals, if there's some gals out there that haven't started chatting in the chat, uh, excuse me. If anybody wants to join me live on the stream to help me out with the watch along for 1996's Scream, that is going to be the watch along for tonight. Tomorrow night will be Sleepaway Camp, the original Sleepaway Camp from 1983, I believe. And so if anybody wants to join me live on the stream tonight, you're welcome to. If anybody wants to join me live tomorrow night on the stream, I will probably, barring anything happening, start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night for the Sleepaway Camp watch along. Chris, you say sleeping bag kill that like all. There you go. I like that one. I got to put that up there, Chris. So let me run through the upcoming watch alongs real quick here before I get started with the Daily Grindhouse. Chris, you say you did a quick live stream on my ranking the Paramount tapes of Friday the 13th for Slasher Saturday. Oh, cool. So, like I said, tomorrow night, starting probably at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Sleepaway Camp. July 22nd, Jaws 2. July 23rd, the John Cusack joint, Say Anything, probably my all-time favorite John Cusack movie. July 29th, Sleepaway Camp 2. July 30th, Sleepaway Camp 3. August 5th will be my first ever 2-part watch along. So this is going to be for Stephen King's Salem's Lot. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Hold on a second, guys. Excuse me. The air quality is terrible here in Louisville again. Oh, man. And so you know what that means for me? It means sinus headaches and a lot of sneezing and dry eyes and all of that. Dirk, you say, I'll join tomorrow. Dana Grayson is making me watch 1990s It right now. Well, see, that's a good thing to be watching. And that's a hell of a good excuse to have for not coming on watch along, is watching 1990s It. And I ain't kidding. You say, out of nowhere, my 6-year-old wants to watch Tim Curry's Pennywise. Well, I think that's a good thing. But anyway, that will be Salem's Lot Part 1, followed on Sunday, August 6th, with Part 2 of Salem's Lot. August 12th will be, here that awful movie keeps rearing its ugly head. I just talked about it on Dirk and Darren's stream, and that will be Terror on Tour. So that's August 12th will be that watch along. Followed on August 13th by what many refer to as the greatest not horror. I got horror in the brain. The greatest rock and or music movie ever made, and that's Almost Famous. Hey, Blissful. August 19th will be the original Pet Cemetery. August 20th, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. August 26th will be the original Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma. And August 27th will be Mystic Pizza. Again, gonna try to get my hands on an actual frozen Mystic Pizza. Hopefully I can get pepperoni because that's what I really want, but I'll settle for another kind if that's all I can get. Uh, let's see. Oh, goodness. I've been doing that sneezing all afternoon. So, um, anyway, we're going to go. Oh, thank you, Blissful. I had a lot of fun on that show. A lot of fun. So I'm going to go ahead. DiGiorno stuffed crust pizza, Dirk. That's awesome. I love those damn things. Those things have gotten, the pepperoni ones anyway, have gotten so damn expensive, at least around here. They have, that I don't get to buy them very much. But hey, Unseen. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and kick off the Daily Grindhouse intro, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of things, and then we're hopefully going to be able to get this watch along started. Oh, that's okay, Blissful. I mean, I'm still blabbing. We got 12 people in here. That's a pretty good crowd. I know CK was in Dirk and Darren's stream a little bit earlier, but I didn't see Uncle Bill. So I don't know if he'll be in here tonight for this watch along to either come in live or just to merely watch, or not at all. But I guess that remains to be seen. So thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. So let's go ahead and kick off this Daily Grindhouse intro, shall we? All righty. So I made my way to Barnes and Noble today. And here's a little tip for anybody that ever visits the Starbucks that are in the Barnes and Noble. I had gotten a gift card, $25 gift card for Starbucks from my boss a month or so ago to it was a $25 gift card for Starbucks. And I spent some of the money on it, but I thought, hey, we're at Barnes and Noble. There's a Starbucks in here. Why don't I just use the rest of my gift card money and I'll get me and Steve a Frappuccino. Okay. So I went up there, ordered 2 large mocha Frappuccinos, and they asked me if I had a Barnes and Noble membership. I said, no, but I have this Starbucks gift card. And he said, we can't honor the Starbucks gift cards. He said, only Barnes and Noble gift cards. I was like, oh, okay. So I just paid outright for it. And Steve, I guess he felt guilty. He sent me $6. And I was like, you didn't have to do that. It wasn't that big of a deal. I was going to get the Frappuccinos regardless. Hey, Gizmo, you say, nice meeting you today or tonight, I mean. That's right. Glad you made it in here. I don't know how long you and Darren will be able to stay because I know it's really late where you guys are at. So anyway, just a little tip for anybody that didn't know that, and you ever get a Starbucks gift card. Apparently, um, they won't honor gift cards for Starbucks if it's a Starbucks that's in a Barnes and Noble. So you learn something new every day, don't you? So I'll Gizmo, you say I'll be up and have you in the background. We'll work for 4 to 5 hours now. Ah, got you. So what did I pick up at Barnes and Noble? Well, thanks to Dirk, instead of me having to wait until Amazon got some more copies in stock, because Dirk mentioned that Barnes and Noble had some 4Ks of After Hours, which I had already placed an order on Amazon, and I guess they oversold their inventory or something. This thing's evidently selling out like hotcakes. Um, so I just put in an order for it, went on and paid for it, and had them set it aside for me at one of the Barnes and Nobles here in Louisville. So today I went to pick it up, and it's funny because I was telling the girl how this has seemed really popular and it's selling out online all over the place. And I mean, I have no doubt that it's a great movie, but um, I didn't realize that it would sell out like that. And she said, "Oh my gosh," she said, "we have many, many copies of it." So evidently, I don't know about the Barnes and Nobles everywhere else, but the Barnes and Noble, at least the one I went to here in Louisville, I think we have maybe two or three. Um, they had quite a few copies, and so there were actually some actually sitting up on the shelf. So I watched the first few minutes of this, and it already the storyline is great. Anybody that has worked in an office for any length of time will feel uh, the character that Griffin Dunn plays in this. They will feel his pain. That's all I'll say. Um, but I didn't really get into the meat of it, but I think I'm really gonna enjoy it. Uh, so if I don't, it would be very rare. And this is also directed by Martin Scorsese, and every freaking person that you could think of is in this movie. So Rosanna Arquette's in this, in addition to Griffin Dunn. Rosanna Arquette, uh, Linda Florentino, Terry Garr, Catherine O'Hara, John Hurd. I actually seen Bronson Pinchot at the beginning of this. Dick Miller is in this. I haven't seen Dick Miller yet, I don't think. Um, so yeah, directed by Martin Scorsese. It's got all these great actors and actresses in it. And I guess it's pretty much a dark comedy, pretty much. Um, Darren, you say not seen After Hours. Do you think I would like it? Yeah, I'm glad I got it too, Chris. Um, I don't know. Maybe Darren, do you like dark comedies? Because I think that's what's going to be a lot of what's in here. This is from 1985. I'll give you a little bit of a plot synopsis here, in case you're kind of trying to judge whether you should watch it. But Darren, I would say in any event, I wouldn't plunk any hard-earned money down until you can maybe somehow come up with a for free or rent it for cheap or something like that before you pay good money for it. But so here's the plot synopsis. Desperate to escape his mind numbing routine, uptown Manhattan office worker Paul Hackett, played by Griffin Dunn, ventures downtown for a hookup with a mystery woman, played by Rosanna Arquette. So begins the weirdest night of his life as bizarre occurrences involving underground art punks, a distressed waitress, a crazed Mr. Softy truck driver, and a bagel and cream cheese paperweight pile up with anxiety-inducing relentlessness and thwart his attempts to get home. With this Kafka-esque cult classic, Martin Scorsese, abetted by Michael Ballhaus's kinetic cinematography and scene-stealing supporting turns by Linda Florentino, Terry Garr, Catherine O'Hara, and John Hurd, directed a darkly comic tale of mistaken identity, turning the desolate night world of 1980s Soho into a bohemian wonderland, a surreal menace. So, that is After Hours. Chris, you say I have not seen it either, Darren, but I'm a big Scorsese fan, so I would recommend it. Darren, you say I'll look into it for sure. I love The Color of Money. Hey, Coco, you say a friend had me watch that in 96 and I really liked it. Cool. So the other thing that I'd picked up that I had my eye on for a while now, but never watched all of it. I've watched maybe the first 10 minutes or so of it, and that's Picnic at Hanging Rock. I was not able to get the 4K of it because they didn't have the 4K of it in the stores. You could order it online. I said, I'll just pick it up, Blu-ray format. It's going to be half price because they're having a Criterion sale. So I'm eagerly looking forward to watching this one because I hear so many good things about Picnic at Hanging Rock. So in case you don't know what Picnic at Hanging Rock is about, I'll give you a plot synopsis for this one as well. This essential and striking chronicle of a disappearance and its aftermath put director Peter Weir on the map and helped usher in a new era of Australian cinema. Based on the acclaimed 1967 novel by Joan Lindsay, Picnic at Hanging Rock is set at the turn of the 20th century and concerns a small group of students with an all-female college, or from an all-female college, who vanish along with a chaperone while on a St. Valentine's Day outing. So technically, you could watch this as a Valentine's Day movie. Less a mystery than a journey into the mystic, as well as an inquiry into the issues of class and sexual repression in Australian society. Weir's gorgeous, disquieting film is a work of poetic horror whose secrets haunt viewers to this day. Chris, you saying I collect Criterion. They have always done quality releases. I agree with that, Chris. Let's what you say. I love that movie. You talking about After Hours or Picnic at Hanging Rock? Because I know a lot of people like Picnic at Hanging Rock. Darren, you say, I'm really interested in Picnic at Hanging Rock from what Gizmo said. Blissful says, Darren, you'll like it. I think Darren will like it too, and I've only seen like the first few minutes of it. So, I thought, after you made this other comment, I thought that was the one you're talking about. But I think, Blissful, you might like After Hours as well if you haven't seen that. All right. So, before I go ahead and get started with the watch along, first of all, does anybody want to join me live on the stream? I know Dirk is otherwise busy with a 6-year-old watching it from the 1990s. But and Gizmo probably wouldn't be able to because he's working with me on in the background. Let's say I added it to my watch novel, LOL. So if you'd like to at any point in time, guys and gals, join me live on the stream. I do have, let me go ahead and put this invite back in the chat. because sometimes these things, even if you star them, they get lost in the chat, I think. So I put the invite in there again. Um, any point in time, if you want to join me live on the stream, barring it not being like 30 seconds before the movie's over, because you won't get to be on here very long. Also, second question is, does everybody that's going to be participating to watch along, do you have a way to watch it? Because I was not able to find a for free copy. However, if you don't have your own copy to watch, I have the 4K, but it doesn't come with a Blu-ray, and I've only got a Blu-ray drive back here. So I'm using Steve's Blu-ray for Screen from his Screen 5 film set. But if you don't have your own copy and you want to watch along, both YouTube and Amazon have it where you can either buy it or rent it. And I think if you rent it, it's like a little over $3. So there's an option for those of you that don't have your own physical copy of it to watch. Blissful says she's all set. Actually, I'm going to get mine the rest of the way queued up here. Because I think I'm going to... here we go. All right. So I got this thing queued up. About 11 seconds in on the Blu-ray, the Dimension logo is just fading in on the screen. If you guys want to, that aren't queued up yet and want to get queued up. But Blissful says she's all set. I'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and do the countdown and kick this watch along off tonight. Hopefully I'll, like health wise, I've been going back and forth. I felt really good during Dirk and Darren stream, An Hour to Kill. But then about 10 minutes after I got off there, I started feeling kind of, almost like a cold was coming on. And so I'm not feeling horrible. But just wanted to let everybody know. I mean, I'm not planning on, having to get off of here before the movie's over or anything like that. I just wanted to let you guys know. Okay, Darren. Darren says he'll hang in the chat. I'm reading up on Four Flies. That's cool because tomorrow, me and Steve and Dirk and Darren will all be talking about Four Flies on the Eurocult show, which I'm really looking forward to as well. So we'll wait until 8:28 and then we'll go ahead and get this party started. And if anybody, comes in here later or at any point in time, the people that are in here now, if you're watching and you need a timestamp, just please ask. I'll be glad to give you one. Chris, you say Four Flies would be a masterpiece if not for that stupid Godfrey character. All right. So I guess we're ready to do the countdown here. So 3, 2, 1, press play. And the Dimension Films logo is now on the screen. I actually saw this in the movie theater when it came out. Chris, you say, sorry, I can't get over that. LOL. No, that's cool, Chris. Yeah, agree. Still a great Argento film. So we've got the introduction to Drew Barrymore in this movie. She's getting a phone call from somebody that she believes it's a wrong number. And then the phone probably starts ringing again after she hangs up. And it's the same guy. And she wants to know why did he call again. He says to apologize. And she's trying to get off the phone with this guy because she's planning on watching movies and planning on her boyfriend coming over. She don't really have time for this guy. And, at this point, the guy seems pretty harmless. Anybody remember Jiffy Pop? I'm trying to think if you can even still get Jiffy Pop. So the guy calls again, and he wants to know what that noise is. She's telling it's popcorn. This is how they get started talking about movies. And here's the line. What's your favorite scary movie? And so she says her favorite's Halloween. Um, Chris, you might be right about that. You say just my personal opinion. I think the Scream franchise is a bit overrated, but it did bring back the slasher, so I'll give it its due. Yeah, I would say as a franchise as a whole, it probably is a little overrated, but I will forever love this first film. Coco, you say, speaking of Argento, I just saw that Aja supposedly had sexual relations with a 17-year-old. Yes, she supposedly did do that. And so there was a big kind of uproar because Aja, I think, was one of the people that came out against Harvey Weinstein. And then this 17-year-old all of a sudden said he was messed up by Aja because Aja basically came on to him. Um, Chris says, LOL, lucky 17-year-old. So now the guy's getting sinister. He's telling her, "No, don't hang up on me." Uh, and he's down there, he'll gut her like a fish. I didn't know she paid him $1 million, Darren. Wow. So now she knows that the guy is, apparently he's outside somewhere and he's been looking in the house and can see her. And it does literally look like she's out in the middle of nowhere. There's some like great creepy lines in the first part of this movie because she says, "What do you want?" And he says, "To see what your insides look like." And I guess technically we cannot credit Wes Craven with the writing. That would have to go to Kevin Williamson. Something I'm noticing here, I've noticed it before, but I'm noticing it again that there's a lot of glass doors and too many damn windows um, in this movie, or I mean, in this house. So there is her boyfriend, Steve. Somebody's, pretty much tied him to a chair and taped his mouth. So this person wants to play a game. So she doesn't want her boyfriend to die. She doesn't want to die, so she's going to play this game. Coco, you say, I think Scream was the best experience I had in the theater. The whole damn crowd was quiet after the opening scene. I was pretty shocked. Yeah, this was a fun experience when I went to see it at the theater. So basically, they're telling her now, if you answer the question correctly, then Steve lives. If you don't, he dies. So he's giving her a warm up question. We'll see if she gets this right. The killer in Halloween. So she gets this one right. And then he says, now for the real question. He wants to know name the killer in Friday the 13th. And oh, she had to say Jason. That's the wrong answer, isn't it, guys and gals? I think I have said that too, Blissful. You say, "Am I the only one who sees a scene like this and think cute sweater?" She does have a very cute sweater on. Darren, you said the opening of Scream is fantastic, but I'm a much bigger fan of Urban Legend, and I know what you did last summer. Yeah, I really like Urban Legend as well, Darren. I'm not so big on I know what you did last summer. It's just okay for me. But to each his own is what I always say. So this guy's still playing this game with her. Of course, maybe it's not a guy. Maybe it's a girl disguising their voice. I keep saying guy, but and two guys, a little warning. I probably should have warned you guys a little earlier. This is a little bit longer movie that I'm doing for this watch along. This is an hour and 50 minutes long. So it's just 10 minutes shy of being 2 hours. Chris, you say Drew is an okay actress. I mean, she might have been too old to be playing this part, but we've seen that a bunch of times. But I'm a huge fan of Drew Barrymore. I've always loved her. So it really does seem that she's out in the middle of nowhere, but you know what kind of tricks that movie makers can do. For instance, Night of the Demons. That the whole house was actually on a busy area, in a busy area, and they made it look like literally was in the middle of nowhere. So there's the first look at Ghostface, or the Ghostface killer, as some people will say. So this is the entrance to Casey's, Drew Barrymore's character's parents, who are coming back home. So they came home pretty early. So even if this hadn't happened, I don't think she would have had time to watch any horror movies with her boyfriend. Yeah, Darren, they did the Hitchcock thing and killed her early. Would have liked to have seen her as a final girl. Yeah, that would have been fun. So the parents are casually talking about, watering the plants and so they know something bad has happened, but they can't find Casey. Coco, you say, I really like Drew, but I really don't think she's that good of an actress. No disrespect. I'm a bit captivated by her, though. I don't know. Oh, no, that's okay. I understand that because I've liked people that aren't really top level actors and actresses, but I still like them. Um, I like her acting, but I'm not gonna say people are wrong for not agreeing with me on that. That's perfectly fine. So this is a very tense scene. Gizmo says one of my favorite films gets a 4K release within 2 months. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, isn't it? You say freaking super happy when something you've been waiting for to come out on 4K or whatever format of your choice comes out, and you're like, finally, That's how I'm going to be when The Exorcist comes out on 4K finally. So that was a great shot. Like I was saying, that was a tense scene because you knew something bad was going to happen, and it just kept building and building and building to that scene where the camera just zooms in on Casey's body hanging from the tree. So now we get the introduction to Nev Campbell's character. Of Sydney Prescott. And her boyfriend has just crawled in through the window. He's very Johnny Depp-esque, I guess would be the way to say it. Um, definitely, definite Craven influence there. Um, yeah, so her boyfriend Billy has crawled through the window. Um, she had him hide because her dad is checking in with her. So Darren, you agree? Yeah, she's not the best. So he said he was home watching The Exorcist and got him thinking about her, and he said it was edited for TV. All the good stuff was cut out, and then he moves on to the sex thing. These guys in these movies, they always get to that, right? Um, Not me, Darren. I've always liked this one. This one's always going to be my favorite one, but I'm sure that some of the rest of you guys and gals have other opinions on it. Stuff's always falling here under my desk, and I'm trying to get this thing back up here, and it just keeps falling over. There we go. So you're definitely not alone, Darren. Christy says, yeah, I like Scream 2 better. Gizmo, you say, Coco, I think it's good, but far from the Nightmare Before, by the way. Cool, Nick. Coco, you say, I thought he looked like Johnny Depp back then. I thought the kid was going places. Yeah, Skeet Ulrich. So this is where Sydney's going when he's getting ready to, leave. Um, now he tells her, "Hey, about the sex stuff. I'm not trying to rush you. Yeah, I was only half serious." Um, and she's going to ask him, "Would you settle for a PG-13 relationship?" And he wants to know what that is. And she just kind of teases him there. So Courtney Cox, you can see over in the bright green. We're going to see more of her. But Linda Blair will show up at some point in time as a reporter. And so Sydney comes to school, and Linda Blair was back there real quickly. So Sydney arrives at school, and she's not sure why the place is, covered with reporters. So there's her friend Tatum, played by Rose McGowan. And Tatum's telling her, Casey and Steve, two of their classmates, got murdered last night. So they think somebody, one of the other students may have murdered Casey and Steve. So, and there's Henry Winkler there playing Principal Grimley. And there's David Arquette back there playing Deputy Dewey Riley. So they're questioning all the students to see if they can figure out anything. I love Henry Winkler, but some of the stuff he does, just like touching Sydney's chin there, and it's just sort of cringy to me. So this is one of the big scenes for me. You kind of get introduced to the rest of the principal players here, um, including Stu and Randy there on the end. And the Randy character's been done before in prior horror movies. But I think Jamie Kennedy did a really good job with this character. Coco, you say I thought the Fonz was the killer until I was like, dang, damn. So I'm not going to give everything away here, but you can see some, foreshadowing. You can see some little hints here. But that's only because I've seen this movie a bunch of times now. Matthew Lillard as Stu is great. Coco, you say I was doing some serious detective work during that movie? So Sydney's planning on going to Tatum's house because her dad's going to be gone for the weekend, just so she won't have to stay at her house alone. So Tatum's promising that she'll be there by 7 to pick up Sydney and take her over to her house. Coco, you say, dude, everybody in that movie was superb. Really like that house with the hardwood floors and everything. See, even I think about different things. So, of course, not Casey, Sydney is sitting there, trying to wait for Tatum. And as she's going through the channels, everything is talking about Casey and Steve. And then she finds Gail Weathers, Courtney Cox's character. And we find out that Maureen Prescott was Sydney's mother and that she was found raped and murdered. And so, needless to say, Sydney can't handle that right now and she's going to turn it off. And of course, they're going to eventually talk about the Cotton Weary character, who was my first introduction to Lee Schreiber. I don't recall seeing him in anything prior to this. Um, I don't know if this was his debut movie or not. I'm not sure about that. So, anyway, Cotton Weary was the one that was accused of killing Sydney's mother. So, Sydney's fallen asleep. She's woke up and she gets a phone call from Tatum, says, practice ran a little late. I'm on my way. And then Sydney says, it's past 7. And, you promised you'd be be here by 7. So she's going to go by the video store and try to get uh, all the right moves with Tom Cruise. Keep in mind, this was 1996. So then she gets another phone call and she thinks it's Tatum, and it's not. Somebody says, "Hello, Sydney." And so when they start talking about horror movies and all that, she thinks it's Randy. And he asked her the same thing. Do you like scary movies? And then what's your favorite scary movie? And of course she says, "Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit." And makes the big point, some stupid killer stalking some big breasted girl who can't act, who's always ran up the stairs when she should be going out the door. It's insulting. And then are you alone in the house? And she says, "Randy, that's unoriginal." And they say, "Well, maybe that's because I'm not Randy." And again, I keep calling the caller a he. It could very well be a woman, right? So they say the question isn't who am I, where am I? She wants to know, okay, where are you? And they say, your front porch, which starts to make things tense again because we're flashing back probably at this point thinking, oh, what happened to Casey? Might happen to her. And she's going to be tough. She says, I call your bluff. She unlocks the door, goes out on the porch. They're still insisting they're right there. So they say they can see her. I kind of like this scene because she's got her finger like she's going to pick her nose. She wants to know, well, can you tell me, what am I doing? She still thinks it's Randy. And then they say, if you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. And she knows it's not Randy now. And there they are. But I will give Sydney this. She's a fighter. I'm just wondering, can you really do that trick in some houses where like you can pull the closet door open and it'll somehow jam up the door to the room? Um, Coco, you say that sucks because it's the worst when you wake up from a nap and it's dark. You're all disoriented. Then you get that kind of call. Yeah, right. So Billy shows up, crawling through her window again. But he's got a damn cell phone. That's one of those old school cell phones, right? So what does she think? Oh, Billy must have made that call. Hey, John, you said, "What's up? I love Scream. So many memories of seeing this as a kid in the theater." Me too, John. Um, although I wasn't quite as young. I was 2 years out of 2 years out of high school when this movie came out. Coco, you say, "I fell asleep once and my grandma called the house, woke me. I answered, and then I thought I was late for school. It was nearly 7 p.m." Yeah, you certainly are disoriented when that happens. The other day, I took a nap in the early evening, and I told Steve not to let me sleep too long. And he came in there and he said, "Hey, Dana, it's almost 5." And I thought, like, 5 in the morning? Like, how long have I been asleep and all that? And then I remembered, oh, yeah, I laid down here and took a nap. John, you say, "This movie is what bridged the gap for me to get into old slashers. I credit it all to this." See, that's what I'm saying. I think that, or I feel, my personal opinion is that horror might have stayed dead in the water if this movie didn't come out. Now, I'm not condoning all the many sequels that came out because of this, but we all know when something makes money, they're going to squeeze it dry for every penny that it can make. So at this point in time, the Gail Weathers character is a real bitch because she says, "When I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now." And so she's really pissed at him. Johnny said, "Absolutely. This was the revival of that era. I keep hoping something now will do that, but nothing I see so far." Yeah, I think things have gotten so far out of whack that I think we're pretty much shit out of luck as far as anything, kickstarting the genre like Scream did. Coco X did a good job in its own way. Um, However, the Scream is more of a slasher film. And X, I don't think of X as just a slasher film. Some people might. And so if we're talking about getting, some more halfway decent slashers into the mix, I don't think anything has come out like similar to Scream that's going to kickstart that subgenre. But it's X did an excellent job of, breathing uh, or adding some new blood into the mix. I guess that would be the best way to say that. So these are some hard looks that Billy is given to Sydney there. So, John, if you're not busy doing anything and have the time, you are welcome to come in live on the stream with me. I can put the invite back in. But if you're busy, that's totally okay. John, you say, "I'd like to see monster movies come back, that era of 30s to the 50s." Yeah, that would be cool. Well, I'm not saying it didn't have some slashing in it, but I just think that to me, maybe I'm totally off base with this. I think to me, the X movie was a different style of slasher, maybe, than the Scream style of slasher. Does that make any better sense? Maybe I should have explained it better. Um, Chris, you say, "Me too, John. I love creature features." Uh, Chris, you say Terrifier brought back the more hardcore type of slasher. I agree with that, Chris. Definitely. Yeah, the kind of hardcore stuff that definitely pulls no punches. So Sydney's just about to punch Gail Weathers right in the face here. There we go. And Tatum's loving this. John, you say, oh, I would, but waiting to get food. Yeah, X wasn't bad at all. I don't know if I'll rewatch it much. But that's okay, John. I wasn't sure if you were out getting food or you were at home or. So there's another phone call for Sydney, even though she's at Tatum's house. And it's the same person that called her earlier. And they're saying, yeah, an innocent guy doesn't stand a chance with you, you know. And so they're saying, looks like you fingered the wrong guy again. Coco, you said, sorry, I missed your message up there. You say, and then they threw a gator in it, but I hear you. Okay. I didn't want you to be offended, Coco, by, me saying, I guess what I should have said is it's not the standard slasher. John, you say horror as a genre won't ever go away. Um, it just needs the right thing to move forward. I don't know what it is, but I hope some director unlocks the door. Me too, John. I said I haven't lost all hope. Coco says, John, I bought it right after I watched it, and I have it for a special or special occasions talking about eggs. Good product placement back there with some corn checks. I did not, John. But now I see, and there's Linda Blair there. Um, I did not, but now, it's one of those things like in hindsight, after I've watched it multiple times, I see clearly, as I have with some old school slashers. How did I not know who the killers were? because now it's so obvious if you, take the cues from who turns out to be the killers when they're talking. So we're finding out that Gail wrote a book saying that Sydney falsely accused Cotton Weary of raping and murdering her mother. And Casey's angry because she's sure that's who committed the crime. So I think the character of Gail has went back and forth throughout all the movies of kind of softening up, kind of getting harder edged again, being bitchy again, and then softening back up again. Um, which I like Courtney Cox's portrayal of Gail Weathers in all the movies, pretty much. Blissel says I miss chunky highlights. John, you say, I think if you were a Tarantino type who studied genres forever, it would be easy. But as a kid, no, I had no clue. This concept was foreign to me, but I bet some smart ass 20 somethings were laughing. They probably knew it, huh? So, out of the frying pan into the fire. So, somebody was running around with the ghost face costume on, scaring Sydney, and then she runs into Billy. But here we come up with some of the lamest excuses um, for things. So she's telling Billy what happened, and he's like, "See, I was in jail when you got the other call. It couldn't have been me, right?" And she's like, "I'm sorry. Please understand." And then there he goes back. I have a girlfriend who would rather accuse me of being a killer than touch me. So he wants to know what the problem is between them, and he's basically saying you haven't been the same since your mother died. And she says, "Is your brain leaking? My mom was killed." And then he talks about his mom leaving and that she should get over her mother's murder the way he got over his mom leaving his dad. Um, and that is just so lame. I mean, I'd want to take this guy and shake him. I'm like, do you understand the stupidity of what you're saying here? Johnny said, Gail, I liked in all of them besides six. I wasn't a fan there. Yeah, little, yeah. She was kind of starting to lose her luster there, I will admit. So I was confused for for a while. I mean, I know misinformation gets out there online all the time. But for the longest time on IMDb, they said that one of these boys uh, was Ryan Kennedy or Rig Kennedy, from Slumber Party Massacre, who played the neighbor, Mr. Content. And I was like, I was confused because I knew that he was older than these kids here when he was in Slumber Party Massacre. So they finally corrected that. I don't know if somebody got confused between Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy, or what the deal was. Um, but I mean, the kid's name, one of those guys' name might be Ryan Kennedy. But it's not that Ryan Kennedy who was on Slumber Party Massacre. So here is the girls you love to hate, the mean girls, especially the cheerleader. And there's the girl, there's Fancy Nancy there in the purple, that is currently shacking up with Tony Moran. God knows why, in case anybody out there didn't know that. We all knew girls like this back in high school, didn't we? Well, that's a nasty freaking bathroom for a girl's bathroom. I guess these girls don't care as long as it's not their own bathroom at home. I've never seen such a messy bathroom in a school before. So somebody said her name. Evidently, John, that's what I heard. That the girl talking that was in the purple is the one with Tony Moran. Hey, TJ. We say, I like she was checking her friend for her comments and not letting her get away with it. Yeah, I don't get it either, John. It's like, how in the hell that happened? I got no clue. Tony Moran and some random scream actress. So here kind of starts the beginning of Gail and Dewey's relationship. But right now, Gail's just interested in getting information. I could be right, TJ. You say they randomly met at a con, I'd guess. I'm not trying to be mean, but why would this chick be at a convention? I mean, like, I wouldn't even, out of all the people in Scream, I would not be interested in meeting her unless she was just there as a fan and then went up to Tony Moran. I don't know. So a little flirtation going on there between Gail and Dewey there at the end of this conversation. So Stu's real happy that they're getting out of school early. Um, so guess what? He's wanting to have a party at his house because I guess his parents are away. Yeah, I don't understand that either, TJ, to be honest. She said the zombies from Dawn of the Dead who never acted again did con. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying, me personally, that is not one of the people that I would be interested in meeting. Again, not trying to be mean. And random background zombies and Dawn of the Dead, I wouldn't be interested in meeting either. So soon we're going to see a quick cameo from Wes Craven, I believe. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this. Dressed like Freddy Krueger. Hey, Davy. There we go. And he was called Fred, too. TJ, you say, yeah, besides Scream, I never saw Nancy in anything else. TJ's confirming it. Yep, it's Wes with the original Freddy sweater. Uh-oh. Well, Principal Grimley's toast, right? Or is it Hembry? Maybe it's Hembry, sorry. I like that shot there. It's almost like a Jallo shot there with the killer being reflected in the eyeball. So Tatum's still trying to be a good friend, but she's saying, well, maybe Cotton Weary was telling the truth. Maybe your mom was just lonely because your dad was always away on business. And yeah, that's right, TJ. Scary movie got Squiggy as a principal. So, the stories have gotten around about Sydney's mother, and she's telling her, it's gone back further. I guess I'm out of the loop or stupid or something, but she talks about the Richard Gere gerbil story, if the subtitles are right. I always thought she said dribble whenever I was watching on the movie. So if it's a gerbil story, I don't know what the gerbil story is with about Richard Gere. And maybe it's something I don't want to know. There's a kind of Halloween type shot. So here's one of my favorite non horror scenes in this movie. So we got Randy at the video store that he's been fired from twice, and they keep hiring him back. And Stu's in there causing trouble. And Randy said, we had a run in the mass murder section. And then he says that's in poor taste. Because Billy's standing in the horror section. Okay. I I guess I had never heard that story about Richard Gere. Um, so I like this explanation that Randy gives. It's prom night revisited. Then he says there's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. Uh, Coco, you say there's a tale of Dick Gear being gay. Okay. Alyssa says too much, TJ. You said too much. But again, I really like this scene. Um, so Stu's saying he thinks it's her dad. It's like, why can't they find her pops? And Randy says, because he's probably dead. His body will come popping up in the last reel somewhere. Eyes gouged out, fingers cut off, teeth knocked out. And he says, the police are always off track. If they'd watch prom night, and then he says there's a formula to it, a very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect. And then, of course, you have that big shot of Jamie Lee Curtis on the poster for Mother's Boys. Ah, TJ, you said it's a Hollywood urban legend about gear. I guess that was one that I missed out on, thankfully, anyway. So there's a curfew, and everybody's, locking the doors of their businesses and going home early before it gets dark. I don't know, Coco. You say, didn't Richard Gere pose nude for H.R. Geiger? Yeah, Google is your friend. I used to work with a guy that would put that in his documentation, his how tos and stuff. If that, he would give you a couple of options on fixing something, and then he would say, and if these don't work, Google is your friend. So I guess everything isn't closing up just yet. So the girls are going over to the store to get some party provisions, I guess. Sexually anorexia, interesting term. Well, there's the killer again. So he said, Dewey, where the hell you been? He says he's been keeping an eye on Sydney, but nah, he was really getting him some ice cream. I'm guessing that's strawberry ice cream. I love, though, how they're convinced that it must be Sydney's father. That's right, TJ. All it's time for ice cream. I think I would have got something better than strawberry. I would have gotten chocolate. I kind of like that shot there, the spinny shot that goes into the police vehicle where Dewey's taking the girls to the party at Stu's house, and then of course the top story news van with Gail is traveling not too far behind. Yeah, I never thought it was Mr. Prescott either. But I love how the sheriff just all of a sudden, well, they were coming from his cell phone. It must be Neil. I agree, Unseen. Anything is better than strawberry. I mean, I like strawberry pies and things like that, but I never really liked because you could clearly see the seeds in that strawberry ice cream that Dewey was just eating, and I never liked crunching on those little seeds when I was um, eating strawberry ice cream. So I would get that Neapolitan ice cream that has vanilla and chocolate and strawberry. And I would try to get all of the chocolate and vanilla out there that I could and make sure that the best I could not get the strawberry on the rest of the ice cream. It's not seeds unseen. He said it's old crusty ice cream bits. Yeah, coffee ice cream. And it's old crusty ice cream bits probably because none of the people like strawberry. Blissel says, ew. LOL. So I like this too, where they're talking about, fog, terror train, prom night. And Sydney wants to know how come Jamie Lee Curtis is in all these movies? And Randy says she's the scream queen. I can't believe these girls don't have an appreciation for Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis in her prime, that is. Oh no. So Gail has showed up. Coco, you say sometimes I get a hankering for strawberry shakes and I get it and it just doesn't hit the spot. I just go with good old vanilla, the best. I'm a chocolate girl myself, so anything chocolate, medium muff. I like that term too. Yeah, TJ, you said then let your kids go to a party while a killer is in town. Never seemed real, even for horror belief suspension. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. But I guess, damn, she's got some serious THO there. Um, sorry, got distracted by Tatum's THO there. And no, I'm straight as an arrow. I just couldn't help but notice that. Um, and maybe people thought, oh, we got Deputy Dewey Riley on the job. He'll keep them safe. Ooh, yeah, death by chocolate. That's just a lot of beer in there. Yeah, have you not heard the term THO, Coco? Um, I'm not trying to be vulgar, guys and gals, but that's what my husband refers to as titty hard on. So you evidently you haven't heard that. Unseen, you say what? THO. My husband introduced me to that. I don't know if that's something that a lot of people, a term a lot of people use, um, but Steve, you say THO a lot, and I said one day I said, "What's THO?" He said, "Titty hard on." When their nipples just are standing straight out. I, that's that's right, Chris. LOL sounds like something Steve would say. And so you say, oh, instead of Delta 8. So now, at first Tatum thought this was Randy. Now she knows, it's not Randy. Somebody means her harm. Coco, you say, holy moly. And a girl with pretty big boobs thinks this is a good idea. No, sorry, honey. And so you say, yeah, never mind, my bad. Although this is a great kill here, though. Good Lord, Reggie, you scared me to death. A dog come busting through back here. Did y'all see me jump on camera? So it seems weird that everybody would be, I don't know what time it is, but, young kids, you would think they'd be partying all night long. Even with those big boobs, TJ, she really could get through that doggy door. So Billy's showing up, and he needs to talk to Sydney. Coco, you say it's a good kill for sure. I can't look at it. I can't do head wounds or trauma. Gotcha. So we're going to find out that the camera, or assume that the camera that Gail hid in the house has got a delay on it, like a 30-second delay, which is going to come into play here in a little bit. Really, TJ, that's interesting. You say, yep, they had to film cheat it to make it look like she couldn't make it. So now he's all, I've been selfish. I don't want to apologize. And now she's apologizing all over the place. Coco, you say, I can watch about anything gory, but when it comes to the head, it's curtains. TJ, you say she was a pretty good actress. She played a young Barbara Hershey once. Cool. That wasn't in Beaches, was it, TJ? Yeah, Coco Barbara Hershey was always very attractive, in my opinion. Oh, it was a show Once Upon a Time. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, and seen Beaches has made me cry quite a few times. Yeah, Coco Barbara Hershey was in the Entity. So here's another great scene or non-horror scene specifically, unless you count them watching Halloween, because this is where Randy's going to tell the rules. Stu wants to know when do we see Jamie Lee's breasts, and Randy says not until Trading Places in '83. Oh, TJ, you say, well, that kid asked Bette Midler if she could keep her cat. LOL. So here, there are certain rules, he says, that in order to successfully survive a horror movie. And then he starts. For instance, number one, you can't have sex because that's a big no no. Sex equals death. And number two, you can never drink or do drugs because that's a sin factor. It's an extension of number one. I'd never, ever, ever say I'll be right back because you won't be back. To which Stu says, I'm getting another beer. You want one? Then he says, I'll be right back. And Gail is watching this with the 30-second delay, and she's very bored by this. So Dewey shows up, wants to know if she wants to come with him to find out why this car has been abandoned down the road. Stu is great, Coco. So now Dewey's getting all romantic with Gail. TJ, you say entity is spooky because you can believe it happened. One of the few cases with convincing actual photos, right? Yeah, Matthew Lillard did kill that role, Coco. I believe it. So now everybody else is leaving. There was a core group there watching the movies, and Sydney and Billy are upstairs, getting ready to do the deed here. Well, you've still got some people there. They're still watching Halloween, and it keeps going back and forth from Halloween to Sydney and Billy. So this is when they find out their principal is dead. He's like, listen up, Principal Hembry's dead. He got gutted and hung from the goalpost. So what do? Instead of being horrified, they want to go see it before somebody pulls him down. But Randy's been drinking too much, so he's just going to stay there and finish watching the movie. So we're coming up on a kind of real quick funny scene um, where Dewey and Gail, well, actually Dewey's on top of Gail, and she happens to look over and says, "Is that what you're looking for?" After kissing him. To which he says, "I'm sorry, I'm on duty." She looks over, sees the car, and she says, "Is that what you're looking for?" And he says, "My whole life." And then she kind of pushes his head to look over there, and he's like, "This is Neil Prescott's car." So Sydney and Billy have evidently just finished having sex. I'm not sure why Billy's over there sitting on the floor putting his shirt on, but whatever. Coco, you say, I think this scene with Randy is one of the best scenes in the horror film. We were yelling at him in the theater. But Sydney can't help from asking some questions of Billy. She's like, "So they give you one phone call. So who did you call?" And he said, "I called my dad." And she's like, "No, Sheriff Burke called your dad." He said, "Well, when I called, I didn't get an answer." And then he says, "You don't still think it was me, do you?" And she's like, "No, no, I don't." She says, "I was just thinking if it were you, it'd be a very clever way to throw me off track by using this one phone call to call her." So Billy acts, sorry about that. Billy acts very sinister here. And then she's looking at him like she's scared, but that's because the killer is coming up behind him supposedly and massacring Billy in front of her. TJ, you say West championed their real life relationship, I think. Cox and Arquette were dating by Scream 2. Coco, you say, but the fact that she gives up the booty and then keeps asking him questions. So now she's on the run from the killer here. So I guess because I like this movie so much, even though it's an hour and 50 minutes long, it doesn't actually seem that long. I mean, we're already an hour and 21 minutes into the film. So we don't really have that much left. Almost or just shy of 30 minutes. We got about 29 minutes left. But this is going to be the final, I guess, quarter of the movie here. She found Tatum. Yeah, Coco, going by fast. That's right, DJ. You say she did him. I'm still thinking he was the killer. Scandalous. LOL. So Randy is, still watching the film. He's visibly drunk. He's telling Jamie to look behind you. Meanwhile, the killer is coming up behind him. And then the killer gets distracted. However, keep in mind that there's a 30-second delay on that little camera that Gail hid. So this guy's asleep, her cameraman. And so they're seeing this, something happened 30 seconds ago. So that means the killer is already out there. He slashes that guy's throat. Yeah, I agree, John. Stu Macher is hilarious, even with the ending stuff. Yeah, exactly. Johnny says Stu would almost be likable as a comedy sidekick in the series if he wasn't the killer. That's right. TJ says, wait, there's more. So Dewey still thinks it's Neil, which I never thought it was Neil Prescott either. That never even crossed my mind. Even the first time I watched it, that it would have been Sydney's father. Because that would have been too easy. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Kenny, that was that guy's name. Dewey is precious, Coco. I agree. Uh-oh. A lot of blood there. Where's that coming from? Yeah, John, you say, I like the Dewey theme. It's a good cue in the series. Yeah. TJ says, Billy is too obvious not to be a killer. Yeah, I agree with that too. Um, yeah, John, I agree. The music in Scream is really underrated. I like this. Oh, God, Kenny. I'm sorry, but get off my fucking windshield. I'll tell you a song that I really like, and it's not really till the end. Is the I guess the remix of "Whisper to a Scream." I really like it. So at this point, if you're watching this for the first time, you think that Dewey is dead at this point. So really, these scenes here where the killer just keeps attacking Sydney is just relentless, really. So Randy's, saying we gotta get out of here, and he's saying Stu killed Tatum, and Stu's saying he killed my Tatum. So big amount of confusion. They're both pointing fingers at each other, and Sydney finally says, "Fuck you both," and just shuts and locks the door. Oh, I think we're all safe in here, Coco. You said that sucks if somebody's actually watching for the first time. Forgive me if I spoiled anything for you. Um, no, I think we're all good. I think probably everybody that's in this chat right now um, has watched the movie before. Oh yeah, TJ, you say yeah, great band soundtrack, Youth of America, Red Right Hand. Yep. John, you say to me, Billy was the most dangerous in the series. He was a scary 18-year-old. So, okay, so it looks like Billy's not dead, but here things start to unravel. So he quotes Psycho, then shoots Randy. Now, yeah, he's really turning on the crazy here. TJ, you say Sid is the killer. I've kept expecting them to make Sid the killer forever now, and they've never done it. Oh boy. Yeah, they already played the fuck you game. So this dude goes all out batshit crazy here, which is great. You say nah, TJ. You say nah. It's not what Nev would want. At this point in time, who cares what Nev wants? I guess I'm the only one that wants them to do that. It looks like. Coco, you say the better not. I'm afraid that they're going to do that with Sid's character. To me, even though I like Scream, Nev Campbell's character of Sydney, she was tough, but she was never that precious to me that it would hurt if they eventually made her a killer in one of the sequels. But John, you say, yeah, I agree, TJ. That'd be like making Laurie the killer in Halloween just weird. And John says, oh, wait, LOL. They kind of tried that almost in ends. Um, I know, TJ, it doesn't make sense thematically. It's just, but what makes sense in a horror film, thematically or otherwise, is what I'm thinking. Um, TJ says Stu is dead. Also, enough of this. He's been alive all this time. Uh, No, that's right, TJ. I've been thinking through every one of the damn sequels, not necessarily 6 movies in. I kept expecting them to make her crazy, or PTSD or whatever, and and have her be the killer. I'm sorry, I'm tired of her being Miss Goody Two Shoes. John, you said honestly, it would have made a lot of sense if Gail or Dewey turned on them later in the series. They'd have motivations in ways. Um, John says Dewey could have been like, "Yeah, you got my sister killed because your family is fucked up." I could see that. Uh, Coco, you say I don't care about her character really, and I can't stand Ned Campbell. She always makes this face. It just seems like lazy writing. Now they're going to stab each other to make it look like the killer stabbed them and left them for dead. Um, TJ says, well, she's gone now, LOL, especially with all the strike business. Yeah, well, that's what you think, Stu. John, you say if they do a Scream 7, Please just end it in Woodsboro. New York setting sucked, in my opinion. Yeah, I didn't much care for the New York setting either. John, you also say, I don't love slashers in cities like that, besides maybe a few. Coco, you say, I think they need to call it a day. I like a couple of them, and this is a classic to me, but let it go. John, you say, unless it's a New York Ripper style thing or Maniac, right? Um, yeah, Coco, I thought they needed to call it a day after the first one. I didn't see a need for any other sequels. Um, but it made money, and so of course the movie companies are going to keep churning them out as long as people keep going and keep giving them their money. I agree, John. Four was horrible. Steve likes four, and God knows why. Um, John, you also say, I honestly think one and two are classics, but after three, it's silly. Um, Chris, you say, yep, I love New York Ripper and Maniac, and that was a different time as well. I agree, Chris. Yeah, these two guys are dipshits. They turned their back on Sydney, and now she's gone. Hey, somebody should have been watching them, okay? Chris, you say it's just the OG trilogy of Scream films that should have ended it. That probably would have worked too, Chris. But again, money talks, right? Yeah, something about four, Coco, I just did not like. I like this too. She's like, oh, Stu, Stu, Stu. What's your motive? Billy's got one. The police are on their way. What are you going to tell him? He says peer pressure. So he gets back on the phone. And he says, did you really call the police? And she said, you bet your sorry ass I did. He said, my mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. I always laugh at that line. Oh, hey, Uncle Bill. You say, I actually think four is a masterpiece compared to those last two shit tip movies. Chris, you say, of course, I'm a huge Friday 13th fan, and they have a ton of those. LOL. Yeah, me too, Chris. Um, John, you say, the way they blend in the Halloween closet attack scene with the shape attacks playing as Billy checks the closet. Brilliant on Craven's part. Oh, I agree. So then we got multiple jump scares here. So Randy's not dead. He said, I probably should be. I never thought I'd be so happy to be a virgin. Gets punched by Billy, who's still not dead. So Gail is back, shoots Billy. Murphy's dead now. Sorry, guys. So Randy's still going to be spouting out rules here. He's going to say, careful. This is the moment when a supposedly dead killer comes back to life. One last scare. So there we go. And she shoots him in the head. Surely he's dead now. To which Sydney says, not in my movie. And then another jump scare with her dad busting through the wall there, basically, or busting out of the closet. Thank you, Unseen. So Dewey's still alive there. So actually, the movie itself is getting ready to end here. The credits carry on a little bit longer. But as I said a little bit earlier, I love this remix of Whisper to a Scream, and I love the way they show, the characters in some of the scenes playing over top of the credits with that song and everything. I just think it's great. And I thought this was great in the theater, singing this outro, so to speak, on the big screen. I mean, we do have a few, credits before we actually get to them showing the cast. So here we go. This is the part in the credits that I really like. John, he said that's no classic like Scream 1981. Thank God. I agree, John. You said that maybe ain't worthy of being a drink coaster. And Drew Barrymore. I'll let y'all in on a little secret. I like this version of this song so well that now when I, hopefully if I'm watching it by myself and it gets to this Whisper to a Scream song, I'll sing along with it. So the Expel Team 2 is named Ryan Kennedy, but when that little mistake was on IMDb, they actually had that Ryan Kennedy linked to the Ryan Kennedy who played Mr. Content on Summer Prairie Massacre. Yeah, it is very 90s, Coco. Oh, well, thank you, Bliss. You said this was fun to watch again. I'm probably going to let the credits run out. Um, I can stay on here a few more minutes. Probably won't stay on here too awfully long after the film's over. Um, but I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow night will be Sleepaway Camp, the original Sleepaway Camp. If anybody wants to come on and join me live on the stream for that watch along, feel free. I'll more than likely be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. The reason why this one was a little bit later is because I was on Dirk and Darren's show An Hour to Kill a little bit earlier today. I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of time to do that, plus do this watch along. Coco, you say, what are you going to do next tonight? Well, after I get off of here, I'm probably going to maybe watch After Hours, maybe, if I think I can stay awake during it, because I don't want to miss any of it. Or I might watch something else, or I may just put something on that I could safely fall asleep during on YouTube. I didn't. I ended up canceling my order, John, for After Hours on Amazon because I believe it was Dark that was telling me the other night that it was selling out online all over the place, include the Blu-ray and the 4K. And but then Dirk said that Barnes and Noble, I guess around him, had some. And so I thought, well, let me just see if one of our two Barnes and Nobles here in Louisville has any in stock. Sure enough, they did. I ordered it, paid for it, had them set it aside for me. And when Steve and I went out today, I picked it up. Plus, I picked up Picnic at Hanging Rock on Blu-ray. Oh, that's right, John. Yeah. So you got yours from Barnes and Noble too. So did Amazon just? I mean, did they say it was delivered and you never got it, or what exactly happened with that, John? Because I do remember you saying that. Well, I canceled my order, but who knows with Amazon? They may go ahead and deliver it. Uh, Coco, you said I just want to know which window to watch you through. Johnny says, so they refunded me. It says delivered and wasn't here. Then today it's in the mailbox. I don't know if they'll go ahead and send me one because in my case, once I made sure that I was going to get a copy from Barnes and Noble, I canceled my order and they said it had been canceled. So okay, so we have officially reached the end of Scream and this watch along for Scream. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tonight. Um, and I hope many of you will be, or if not all of you, are able to come to the Sleepaway Camp watch along tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Um, Coco, you say just doing the whole screen bit. I haven't the gumption to be a stalker. Oh man. Um, but so Monday I might, depending on how I feel, I might try to do another true crime um stream and talk about some more true crime movies. Tuesday, I'll see if I can do another disturbing horror. Um, Wednesday, of course, TJ and I are going to try to finish up those season 1 episodes of Friday the 13th, the series. And yeah, the rest of the week, or Thursday and Friday, I'm not sure. Friday, more than likely, I won't be doing anything. I didn't plan on it this Friday, or this past Friday, or whatever you want to say. However, I got bored earlier in the afternoon and did kind of an impromptu official I'm bored stream. And then I was also on the Dead Pit Boys fan commentary for Jaws last night with CK, Uncle Bill, and Jay Real. Oh, thank you, Unseen. You say thanks for a good show, Dana. So I think I'll stay on here till 10:25. I know that's odd. Um, but I'll stay on here a few more minutes and then I'm going to say sayonara and get off here, try to get some rest. Well, thank you, Blissful. You say, Dana, another great live. A chat was awesome. Anybody else got any cool things coming up for the remainder of your weekend? I may be cleaning a guinea pig cage tomorrow. That might be one of my big things. And then, of course, I'll be doing the watch along tomorrow night. But Steve's probably sleeping by now. He laid down kind of early tonight. Well, I kind of thought it was early, but put that in there. And, well, actually, I had a couple of guinea pigs, Coco, about a year or two ago. And one of them I adopted. There's a guinea pig rescue here in Louisville. And I don't know how old she was when I got her, but I got her as a companion for one that I had gotten at PetSmart. And she lived a couple of years with me and then passed away suddenly. And I don't think she was sick or anything. I think unfortunately, her time was up. So I did get a new guinea pig so my other guinea pig, Rusty, would not be lonely. So I got one kind of recently and named her Ripley after Sigourney Weaver's character in Alien. Johnny said, good showing. Did you ever see Return to Sleepaway Camp? Yes. Unfortunately, I did, John. You said that movie is so bad, but so bizarre. Oh, Blissful says she's taking up carpet tomorrow. Fun times, LOL. Johnny say it almost needs a documentary on it and the canceled one after part 3. Oh, yeah. The Survivor or whatever that was called. Um, Yeah, Thankfully, we didn't have to take up the carpet ourselves. Well, maybe Steve did. Maybe. Good Lord, I can't remember anything. Uh, Steve may have taken up the carpet in the living room whenever we got the new floor down. Um, I'm thinking more along the lines that he did. So he had that fun. Okay, so it is now 10:25 p.m. Eastern time, guys and gals. And so what I always say at the end of these is I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Thank you guys for joining me in the chat tonight. It's been fun. So, everybody have a good night, and I will see you guys next time. Uh, Coco, you say Ripley. That's cool. My dog's ripping tonight. Stinks to high heaven. Blissful, you say they are large area rugs. I'm just rolling them up and putting them in storage. I guess not too bad. Good night, Unseen. Good night, everybody. See you next time.